Hi, I wanted to do a real quick video, well, not a real quick video, but a quick video on making a simple leather purse. I'm be making a purse for my daughter, and we wanted the purse to be kind of, a small purse. We'll have then the straps coming off like this. So what I did first is I made just a paper template on how the leather is going to come together, and it's going to be kind of stiff leather, so I wanted to have a place for when it's folded up for her hand to easily get in the purse. And I kind of planned out where my folds are going to be, where the leather is going to come in, and then how it's going to come down on top like that. And so made that. Then my next step was I don't know if you can see here, but I transferred the pattern onto the leather. And also, for the size and to cut out the template, I made this, but also this wood piece here that I made is going to be what we're going to mold the leather around. I'm going to get the leather wet, then work it and mold it around this. I'm not going to use heated water on this because I don't want it to be too hard, and I want it to be a little bit flexible. But this is a good thickness of leather, so it is going to be kind of a harder purse. But also what we're going to do is once we smooth the leather out on this, and while it's still damp, we're then going to make some nice kind of scrolling patterns and decorate the outside of the purse. Then when it's done, of course we're going to dye it, and I'm going to go through all the different steps of it. But this is the first step. My next step now is to go through with a knife and cut it out. Okay, I've gone through and I've cut the leather out. And then what I did here, can't really see it, but I went and I actually shaved down the leather on these side flaps where it's gonna flap up because they're gonna go over each other, and I just want it to be as thin as possible. So I actually took a knife, really sharp, and then I just kind of carved a layer of leather off on all these side flaps. This way when I go to mold it, it'll come together and it won't bulk up too much there. So now the next part is to soak it in warm water for about 30 seconds. Then I will start molding it around the purse mold. And that's the next step. Okay, I've taken the leather and I put it in warm water, let it sit for about 30 seconds until it stopped bubbling. Then what I did is I've just gone and just molded the leather around, and I'm taking this bone creaser tool and just working it. It's still a little bit wet to really start working, and I'm definitely not a professional leather worker. What I'm probably going to do with this, as you can see, I've folded it over, but then what I'm going to do is I'm going to shave back this leather, so when I put the dye on, I'll be able to actually, you won't even hardly be able to see these seams in here. And I'm even thinking of putting a strip down the side that's going to hold the shoulder strap. So right now I'm just molding it around. It's going to be kind of just a molded, almost kind of a hard shell purse. But this is it so far. So right now I'm waiting for, and you can see I have it wrapped around the wood block, and then I have some tacks in just as it dries a bit. I need it to dry a little more before I can really start working the leather with this tool here to mold it around the wood. So I'm going to let it dry, then I'm going to start working it. Okay, I just stained it. Really, since the last video, the only thing I did is I molded it, waited for it to dry. Actually, when the leather was still damp, I'm not sure if you can see in here, I went in and just made some scrolling patterns, just pushing into the leather, and then when you stain it, the color comes off a little bit different. So I don't know if you could see that, or how well the color is actually coming in here. There it is so far. And then on the back I just have my daughter's name and I stained the inside. What I did is before I stained it, I punched out the holes. I actually used a Dremel with kind of like almost like a tile cutter bit, just to get this. What I did is I lined it up and just gave it a smack, so then it would imprint. You can see where I needed to cut out, and I tested it and fit. Once that fit, I then took and marked that to the back piece. And this hole right here is actually where this is going to fit through, and just kind of like a little quarter turn latch. So now I'm probably going to put my pins back in it, just because I really soaked the leather good in the dye. And there will be it'll want to shrink a little bit, so I'll pin it up so it'll stay. Once I have that, I'm going to put on a decorative side piece. Maybe with like a little kind of point down here, come up, and then I'll have my hardware to mount the shoulder strap that'll go over it. But you can see it's a pretty simple project. Well, that's it for now, and then I'll probably next step is I'll shoot a little video when I put the hardware on, and probably show you maybe how I put the side straps on. Well, I kind of skipped ahead a little bit, sorry about that, but the purse is pretty much done now. The main parts that I showed, that was kind of the key to putting this together. I think in the last one I showed I was molding the leather, and today I just started jamming along on it, and honestly kind of forgot about the whole video thing. But right now you can see I have the hardware on. What I did is, I think I showed where I marked out the holes for the hardware, and all I did is I just glued everything together with the leather contact cement. Did these scroll designs. Then once, excuse me, let me step back. Before I glue everything, I make sure that I dye it. If you don't, what happens is where you might have little spots of glue, it'll show the natural leather color through. So if you stain it first, even if you have a little bit of glue, you're fine. It's covered with color. All I did here on these side pieces, because I'm a complete novice at leatherworking, so I just made kind of these end caps with a little D-ring. And I put this in here for the purse to mount onto. Made a strap up here with just hardware from, I think I got this at Joann's Fabrics, these buckles. And just cut strips of leather to make the shoulder strap. Put some eyelets in there so as my daughter grows that, she can adjust it. This little latch here, this was from Joann's Fabrics too. You can see here's the inside of the purse, have it all stained. After I stained it, what I did is I sealed it with, it's called Super Sheen. And what that does is that seals the leather. So, rubbing against a fabric, you're not going to rub the stain off and stain clothes. And also it puts that little shine on it. But this is my first attempt at making a purse. And, as I said, I'm still completely learning. So, if anyone has any tips, things like that, recommendations, feel free to post them in the comments. I'm just right now wanted to make my daughter a little purse and just having fun working with leather. And that's it. Thanks for watching.